Hi everyone, welcome back to Career 360. Today we have Ananda with us, who has pursued his MBA from IIT Bombay. IIT Bombay is one of the most renowned college of the country. He is here to share with us his journey and also his life at IIT Bombay. I welcome Ananda to you. Ananda, how are you?
I'm doing quite fine. What about you?
I am also good. Ananda, we are here to share your journey with the students and probably people who are preparing for these competitive exams this year. They will be really inspired by your journey. So let's begin.
Right.
Firstly, tell us about IIT Bombay. Why IIT Bombay and what made you choose IIT Bombay for pursuing MBA?
I would start by telling that I have an engineering background, BTech in mechanical engineering. And IIT Bombay happens to be one of those B schools which have the philosophy of a tech school offering an MBA. So
Yeah.
that is the niche that they actually want to exhibit to the world. And in the country, there are only few colleges which do that. It's IIT Bombay, IIT, the only few of the IITs which offer an MBA. So I really wanted to build upon my engineering background and pursue an MBA which would add value on top of that. And IIT
Okay.
Bombay was right at the top spot for that. So
Okay.
that is why IIT Bombay.
Okay, that's great. So you mentioned you're an engineer background person. So why the transition to management? Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you choose to do MBA post engineering.
So, okay, let's start with some background. I have been born and brought up in Kolkata.
Okay.
After that, I did my BTech in mechanical engineering from SRM IST in Chennai. It was during my undergraduate days, that a lecturer came from Mahindra, an R&D engineer,
Okay.
who gave us lecture on how an engine is actually developed, how platforms of vehicles are developed. I understood that as an engineer, I can only do so much. I can make the vehicle efficient, I can reduce cost and do whatever. But ultimately, the decisions of when to launch the vehicle, at what price the vehicle will be launched, and all those decisions are actually impacted by managers and executives. And that is what really drew me to pursue MBA. And also, I was following the stories of Aether Energy, which is a startup which was developed by engineers. There also, the thing is that as an engineer, it's very easy to make a product, but to build a business around it and to sell it, that is where I think I got my kick and push. So that's why I wanted to pursue an MBA. So that was another thing that I want to highlight over here is after I graduated, it was the year 2020. So it was a period where the job market was not doing well and only a few mass recruiters were available. I decided to take a drop year. And I want to highlight this point that in spite of having a drop year and in spite of many of my peers telling me that you have a drop year, so getting an admission into an IIT Bombay will be very difficult because supposedly they have huge weightage to work X. So these were various misconceptions. And for me personally, these never stood in my way.
Okay.
And ultimately, after a stellar interview, I converted IIT Bombay and a few other top colleges. But IIT Bombay just attracted me in some way, and I joined the college.
Okay. So you said there are a lot of misconception about the admission process. So tell us more about the admission process at IIT Bombay. What was the procedure like?
So the admission process is really very simple. You just apply basis on your CAT score, and then you get called for a personal interview, which is taken by a panelist. So here is the difference between our college and other colleges. The panel is composed of three people. One would be an MBA professor, one would be a BTech, MTech professor from IIT, who would be from a stream which would be related to your background. So if your background is mechanical, maybe the dean of mechanical would be present in the panel. And the third thing is that they would bring an alum from SGM SOM who had similar background, similar work experience, or similar engineering background. So this is how the panel would be composed. And since I was a part of the admissions team, we really manually map each and every candidate's profile with the panelists. So that is how it's different. After the interview, there are no GD. Previously, many years back, there used to be a written assessment test. Right now, it's only interview, and then the list would come out who is selected, who is not.
Okay. So how was your interview process during the admission?
So
What were the questions that was asked?
Yeah. So it's been 2 years now, but I can clearly remember my interview process was taken by the HOD at that time of SGM SOM. and he was very much interested in my profile and why MBA part.
Okay.
So this is a common thing across all the panels of SGM SOM. They really want to delve into your personal profile. They did not ask cookie cutter questions or random knowledge based questions. They will ask things from your profile. So from my profile, considering that the budget had just been released before the interview, they asked me that you're interested in mechanical engineering, you're interested in the two-wheeler market, as you mentioned, Ather Energy and all those things. So what was in the budget that you think would be really helpful for the two-wheeler industry? So the
Okay.
whole discussion and topic happened around this point only. What the government is doing, what the budget provisions are for the two-wheeler market. So it was basis around that. Other than that, they asked me a few economics-based questions. And finally, a lot of drilling was done on the point why MBA and what would you do if you're not selected.
Okay. Okay. Also, post CAT, how did you started preparing for interviews and GDPIs?
So here I would like to point out another thing: the preparation for GDPIs does not start post CAT. It
Yeah.
starts while you're preparing for CAT. Okay, so I used to read newspapers, newspaper editorials, the New Yorker, and all those things, Economist, all those Time magazines. So this creates a perspective on world affairs and world views. So that was really helpful. And after my CAT, I delved full time into following the current affairs and news. Number one. Number two, I gave mock interviews to alums.
Okay.
And with several coaching institutes, I had mentors who helped me throughout the process. So I can really see the difference where I gave my first mock interview and my final interview at SJM SOM. It was a hell and heaven difference. So mock
Okay.
interviews and following current affairs and reading up newspaper editorials. That would sum it up.
Okay. So right now GDPI season is going on. A lot of students have got calls from many good colleges. What is that one piece of advice that you would like to share to those students?
So for GDP, I would first talk about the GD part. There are two aspects to it. One is speaking, one is listening. And
Yeah.
people miss out on the latter part.
Yes.
Speaking, most people are very comfortable and they think they will be making good points and that will actually help them pass the GD round. But it's not just about good points, it's how well you articulate each point, how structured your flow is. That is number one. Number two, the listening part. Are you able to summarize or connect the points of your peers? Are you able to lead the discussion in a certain direction? Are you able to conclude? So holistically, these two parts is how GD should be managed or effectively tackled. And for the PI bit, it's purely confidence. See, every B school just wants to know if I take this candidate in, will that candidate be of value to our institution? Would that candidate will be eligible to be recruited by the top organizations which come in hiring? So they just want to test that. Although they might be asking you questions in the drilling mode from your CV or random questions, tell me about the seven sister states of Northeast India. What they actually want to know is how confidently you're tackling each question, how you're maintaining your calm and composure. And it's not just about how much you know, but how you're reacting to the situation. So this would be the two parts of GD and PI.
Okay, that's great. Also, Ananda, lot of people are still unaware about MBAs from IIT. So let's talk about more about the curriculum at IIT Bombay. Like in IIMs, they follow a case study based pedagogy. So what is the curriculum like at IIT Bombay?
It's the same. We also
Okay.
have case study based pedagogy. It's no different from any other B school.
Okay.
Just that since the philosophy is that it's a tech school, IIT Bombay, which is offering an MBA, it
Yeah.
would be based a lot around quantitative skills.
Yeah.
So even if it's marketing and we have very good marketing professors, it
Yeah.
would be more around the analytical aspects of marketing.
Okay.
That is number one. Number two, as we already know that SJM SOM is renowned for its capabilities in supply chain. It's
Yeah.
one of the top one or two colleges in India. And there also the quantitative aspects, the programming, the analytical, the statistical analytical techniques, all those are very much important. Number two. Number three, for finance. For finance also is the same. The case study based pedagogy is followed and the heavy focus is on quantitative aspects of it. So it's
Okay.
in no way different to any other IIM, even the classrooms or the faculties or the case study, the credit points. Moreover, the cherry on top is that in IIMs or some other B schools, you do not get to choose courses from other departments. Here you
Okay.
can choose courses from the computer science department of IIT Bombay. You might
Okay.
choose courses from the economics department of IIT Bombay. So it gives you a flexibility to leverage the IIT Bombay ecosystem.
Okay.
So that's where it's a notch high above with the other B schools.
Okay. Also, I'm sure when we talk about IIT Bombay, it has a very vibrant culture of fest and cultural activities. So, for a person who is pursuing MBA, what are some of the activities and opportunities offered to you for your profile building or probably some extracurricular activity to develop your personality? How is that part of campus life at IIT Bombay?
So I would first talk about the campus life part. It's very, very vibrant. In other B schools, the campus life is only synced with the placement patterns. When
Yeah.
placements will not be there, there would be some fests, some events. But since in IIT Bombay, there are the BTech people, the MTech people, MSc, and all, everyone is there.
Yes.
It's never in sync.
Yeah.
So every day there would be some event happening. There would be some music competition, some theater, some exhibition, art, workshops happening all the time. And as a student of IIT Bombay, you will be eligible to participate in all of those. Lastly, most importantly, Mood I. So Mood Indigo is a
Yeah.
thing where you can showcase your managerial skills by participating in coordinating the fests. One of the key highlights is that we bring many celebrities to
Yeah.
Mood Indigo and we not treat them specially. You will find one student being a POC of three, four celebrities cramped up in one Ola or Uber cab, and they would be fed. It's they want to be a part of Mood Indigo. It's so important for them. So this connects to my other point: how to build CV. You can be a part of the organizing fest Mood Indigo, and let me tell you, since it's a very big fest, and the alum network is very strong who have worked in Mood Indigo, people actually give weightage. This is very different from you managing fests from other colleges. Mood Indigo is on a different level.
Yeah.
Number one. For profile building part, there's two things. We have something called the entrepreneurship cell.
Yeah.
So in our placement season also, there is a clause where you can actually be part of the entrepreneurship cell and you can take 1 or 2 years off and you
Oh.
can be engaged in pursuing or developing your own startup. And if 1 or 2 years later things don't work out as planned, you still have the option of being in the placement season of that year. So
Okay.
that's a very flexible thing that is offered. Number one. Number two, you can also do internships in other IIT Bombay startups or IIT Bombay tech clubs.
Okay.
So the opportunities are endless of how you can develop your CV. Lastly, I would like to mention my campus life experience. I was very much a part of the football team at the college and also the music fest culture in the college. So I have performed. The music culture in the college is very, very high level. So you need to perform your own compositions and songs, and there's a huge rush in these events. So it was very nice collaborating with BTech, MTech people, PhD people, forming a band with them, or being a part of the football team and going to play all the local tournaments, be it at Narsi Monji, be it at SIBM Pune. So all these colleges I visited, and we really had a great time. So
Okay.
it would be two of the best years of my life.
Okay. So since we're talking about a campus life, how important do you think networking is during your MBA?
Networking is very, very important, not only within your batch, also the BTech and the MTech people of IIT Bombay. And many of those actually go on to become co-founders at huge startups. So you can
Yeah.
actually leverage that IIT ecosystem. That's one point I will again emphasize. So from networking point of view, it's a huge opportunity.
Okay. So let's dive a little back in time and go to your preparation journey.
Right.
Yeah. So when did you started preparing for CAT and what made you started preparing for CAT? What was that shift?
Okay. The shift was, I always was interested in management, pursuing management, as I said, but I was not sure whether to do it within India or outside India.
Yeah.
So initially, I started preparing for GRE, and one of my friends who was preparing for CAT, he said, "It's okay, you prepare for GRE, but just appear for CAT once."
Okay.
So around May or June of 2020, I started preparing for CAT along with GRE. And that is when I realized the potential of colleges like IIT Bombay and FMS Delhi, which are
Hmm.
huge value for money. And that is when I delved full time into CAT and I did not pursue the GRE, because in GRE you will go to colleges and you will be accepted only in masters in management programs outside India. Not for MBA, you need prior work experience, and I did not have prior work experience. So it made more sense for me to pursue CAT. How my preparation started was for quants, I bought a book called Sarvesh K. Verma, and I finished that book three times
Quantum
over
CAT.
from Quantum CAT, from first page to last page. And I have got many questions common in my 2020 paper. Like some questions I did not even have to solve. I knew this is the formula, this is the answer. So that is a very good repository for practicing quant and the different type of sums available. Number one. For LRDI, it was my weak point. So LRDI, I started with solving previous year's questions papers, but still I could not get a hang of it. That's when I took a LRDI booster course from a coaching institution, and that really helped. The format was that it would be a 40 minutes lecture session, and you would be pegged against the other students who can complete the more number of questions. It was intensely high pressure, but really enjoyable. Lastly, my strong point was VRC, because I used to read a lot, be it newspaper editorials, or be it books. So I really did not have to do anything for that. And tying everything together was mocks. An integral part was mocks. Time and again, there were days when I gave two mocks in one day. But gradually I realized that is not the perfect way. We should be spaced out, and the crucial part is analyzing the mocks, analyzing the strategies that you took for the mocks, what worked when, what went well, what worked fine, and what did not. So mocks all the way. I must have given about 45 to 50 mocks.
Okay.
So that was the holistic approach.
Okay. And what about the VARC section?
VRC section, as I said, you can read up essays from Aeon, Medium, Ken, The Economist, The New Yorker magazine, editorials, some book reviews. All these things would actually prepare you for the kind of passages which are most likely to be book reviews or philosophical or scientific. So there are different types of passages. That is about the RC part. And mastering critical reasoning was another thing. And there are tons of online video resources available on how to master critical reasoning. That was one bit. The other part was verbal ability. And for verbal ability, the most important thing was solving a book which I had solved in my undergraduate days, which is called Word Power Made Easy, I think, by Norman Lewis. So so that was a key book which helped me in my journey. So all these things I think prepared me very well for the VRC part.
Okay. So you said that you prepared it with your GRE preparation. So how much time did you devote to CAT prep on daily basis?
So as I mentioned, GRE preparation I cancelled after a while. It was fully focused on CAT. And on a given day, since I did not have a working job, but I will come to that part later, I devoted almost around 6 to 8 hours per day. And the other part is that since I did not have a formal job, and CV building is very important, because you would obviously be asked that what did you do with this time that you had when you did not have a job. So I was very prepared for that. And for that, I volunteered at an NGO, and B school applications value this part a lot, volunteering for NGOs, number one. Number two, I did courses on machine learning, I did courses on economics, basics of accounting, and I also started solving, I think, Case in Point by Mark Cosentino for consulting enthusiasts. So all these things were happening in parallel with my CAT prep. So I think all this prepared me for the GDPI, not only for the B schools and also the summer internships.
Okay. So is drop year such a bad thing to be on a CV? Like students usually get scared when they have a drop year and they don't know how to justify it. So how did you overcome it, and what did you, like you mentioned, you had courses, you did NGO volunteering. So what would you like to say to those people who get scared when they have a drop year in their CV?
Only one single aspect. For a drop year, even I was scared. I will be very honest, even I was scared. And some of my peers told me that you should not even apply to IIT Bombay since you do not have work experience and you have a drop year. This college won't be good for you at all. You will not be able to compete. It's not like that. See, if it's a common market condition, people know that layoffs have happened. People know that finding a job is hard. they will not be so much grilling on why you did not have a job. Although
Yeah.
the questions they might ask might seem like they're grilling you. All in all, what they want to know is if you did not have a job, did you do enough to justify to have admission in that college or institution? As long you can justify that, there's nothing harm in it, no harm in it. So I justified it by saying that I did all these things. So you should have points that you can justify, whether you are engaged in some maybe in your family business, that also scores as a brownie point. If you can explain how intricate or complicated it was. So all in all, you have to make them understand that you did not waste that time. As long as you can justify that, a drop year is fine. Many people have drop years, including myself, and it did not harm me in any way.
Okay. So, Ananda, you mentioned that you were a fresher when you joined the B school.
Right.
In your opinion, what is better? Is MBA better as a fresher or as person who has gained some work experience after some time?
This is a difficult question. I think the sweet spot would be having a work ex of 1.5, 1.8 years,
Okay.
because that also helps you in your admission process. The bell curve, which is there
Yeah.
for having weightage on the work experience. And other than that, I did not feel at a disadvantage being a fresher. So the drop period that I had, I studied really on a variety of topics. So while doing conversation with me, even my batchmates did not even make me feel that I was a fresher. But that being said, I did see some points where a fresher lacked some lacuna. That was when working with teams
Okay.
or while working with tight deadlines or having that professionalism. That's where a fresher might feel that they're at a back step. But other than that, there is no harm being a fresher. That being said, if you have a good company and a good work experience, 1.8 years, 1.5 years is a very sweet spot that really helps you.
Okay. So, the cutoffs for engineers usually go very high when it comes to CAT and B school admissions. So, what is it that you want to say to those people, especially engineers who are preparing for CAT this year? What is that one piece of advice that you would like to share to them?
So see, for engineers, it will always be a bit difficult with even the highest of percentiles. There are
Yeah.
people with 99.5, 99.7 who don't make it to the top colleges. I would just say that the CAT is just another exam. Focus on honing yourself, your skills. The jobs are out there. You just need to connect with the right people. And even if CAT preparation does not work out, the whole tenure of actually having the discipline to prepare for CAT or reading up about these current affairs and news, this would prepare you for a job change also. So even if you're not cracking CAT and getting a top college, a job change or having a job appraisal in the same company, so that will be really good. So it's not that if you're not doing MBA this year, it will be bad. As long as you have the skill sets and the right aptitude, you will be growing. So that is one mentality. And in addition to that, to focus on the interview, because that's where I cracked IIT Bombay. Not having a work experience, I was already in the back foot of the weightage of points, but my interview went really well, and that helped me crack and be ahead of the others in the curve.
Okay.
So focus on the interview more.
Okay. What other calls did you had apart from IIT Bombay?
Apart from IIT Bombay, I had calls from the IIM CAP and I had calls from MDI Gurgaon. I also converted MDI Gurgaon and
Okay.
also SPJMR. SPJMR, I could not convert, unfortunately. But these three were my top calls, SPJMR, MDI Gurgaon, and IIT Bombay.
Okay. So you had a lot of great calls like IIM CAP and then MDI Gurgaon and you converted MDI Gurgaon. So what made you
Yes.
choose IIT Bombay over these colleges?
That's a very good question. Number one would be the batch strength. In
Okay.
MDI Gurgaon, the batch strength is really huge. And the focus, as I mentioned, it will offer you a general MBA. It
Okay.
will not offer you a specialized MBA, for example, which is based on the curriculum of a tech school, which is what I
Okay.
wanted. I wanted to leverage my engineering background. That is why IIT Bombay made sense. Apart from that, what I already mentioned, the batch strength. The batch strength is too huge, so that might become a problem if it's a bad year for placements.
Okay.
Whereas in IIT Bombay, the batch strength usually hovers around 120 odd people. So
Okay.
during placements, be it summers or the final placements, their top companies and the salary level is also high. So the competing pool of people is really low. So that was another reason. And number three, the campus life of IIT Bombay, because people who actually go through the admission procedure, that is the initial touch point from where we actually start attracting the people. And that's also where I got my call that IIT Bombay seemed more like home to me. That is why it was IIT Bombay.
Okay. So, you talked about placements at IIT Bombay. Let's go back to your placement journey. How was your final placement and summer placement? What was the interview process like? What all were the
So,
companies that you were interested in?
so I was interested in the FMCG supply chain companies and the consulting companies, but not having a work experience made my shortlist for consulting companies difficult. Consulting companies also look between 1.8 to 2 years of work experience. That would be a sweet spot for consulting companies. That being said, my journey was something like this. I entered the college and there was a case competition by PwC
Okay.
where I received a PPI.
Oh,
So that
nice.
was really a huge deal. But before the PPI could happen, Asian Paints came for the summer placements, and I got selected in Asian Paints.
Okay.
Thereafter, I did my summer internship in Asian Paints in their headquarters, and subsequently, I got a PPO.
Okay.
And even currently, right now, I am in supply chain of Asian Paints. Uh, and that is how my journey was. I did not have to wait for the final placements. It was a stellar summer internship, which turned out good in my favor. That is how it went. And even in the summer internship interview, most of it was covered from the preparation that I had been doing for the GDPI prep. So it's not like first you study for CAT, then you study for GDPI, then you study for summer placements, then you study for final. It's not like that. If you're prepared holistically, it will help you with every interview, be it a B school, be it the summer interviews, whatever. So that preparation of mine helped me in my summer interviews as well.
Okay. So, let's talk about your summer interview process. What was the interview like for Asian Paints, and what were some of the questions that were asked?
I would mention the questions which will be really relevant for the viewers. It would be they at first want to know you are a fresher, why should we hire you?
Yeah. Okay.
That was a point blank question that they had. You are a fresher, why should we hire you? And I had to justify that, and they grilled me on that point that you are a fresher, you will not be able to adjust. And I had to keep on justifying until unless they were really confident that this guy will be adapting to anything we throw at them. So that's what most companies look at, whether the person there, because in summer placement time, we've just been 2-3 months into the MBA, not supposed to know much. If you are a fresher, your CV is as good as your undergraduate CV.
Yeah.
So the most of the questions are centered around if this guy can be trained, if they have some basic common knowledge about management. So that is it, that is all. So they asked me some basic questions from supply chain, but most of it was around grilling me on why, as a fresher, they should hire me.
Okay. And what was those 2 months of experience at Asian Paints when you were interning over there?
It was really great. Like Asian Paint's competitive advantage is because of their supply chain. And it was really fantastic to be at the headquarters and actually see and have a bird's eye view with the entire supply chain of the country. And the kind of projects they offer are also very, very different from the other companies. In other companies, the projects are really very academic or not too critical or not too complex in nature. But in Asian Paints, they really issue projects which are of actual current live importance. So whatever you do, it's actually implemented in the company.
Yeah.
So from that respect, those 2 months were really great working with cutting edge softwares in supply chain and with some of the best minds in the country. Because Asian Paints has people from IIM, Bangalore, NITI, SJM, SOM. So it was really great working for those 2 months.
Okay. So, Ananda, in today's time where AI is overpowering the industry and it is also a startup booming culture right now in India, so do you think that MBA as a degree is still relevant at today?
Very much, very much. So. And no, it's not because I am biased because I did an MBA. But right now, most companies are looking at the cross-functional expertise, not just MBA. Do you bring something else to the table? Do you know programming? Do you know Python? And do you know forecasting techniques? Can you analyze data? Are you very comfortable with Power BI? Power BI is the new Excel. So,
Yeah.
as the expectations are that you should know Excel, Power BI is also something like that. So, a cross-functional expertise, and having an MBA really offers you the very much needed edge in today's world. So you need to understand the basics of AI because it will be used at every level in your organization. But even then, an MBA is very much relevant because
Okay.
MBA teaches you how to take decisions under pressure, how to have a structured critical thinking and workflow. And all these are really, really needed. Not just skills which will help you in your career, but having this managerial set of skills will push you forward.
Okay. So, Ananda, CAT 24 is around 8 months away. So, what is it, the one piece of advice that you would like to give to students who are beginning with the preparation just now?
I will say it's never too late if they're beginning just now. 8 months is a very healthy time. It's very much doable. The CAT is a very much crackable exam. What is needed is just discipline. I have known people who have leapt by bounds and scored stellar percentiles. Even if multiple attempts are needed, it would still be worth it. And cracking it is possible only should through sheer discipline.
Okay. Before we end, Ananda, how would you like to describe your journey right from preparing for CAT and then reaching to IIT Bombay and then bagging an offer there? How would you describe this inspiring journey in your own words?
So when I look back now, when I actually started studying for CAT and with what everyone was telling me that you would not have work experience, it really seemed like I had lost my path. I will be very honest. It was like a dark place. I did not know whether I should be applying to new jobs or whether I should be doing an MBA. So all those things were there. But once CAT was done, and personally, I think it was not my best attempt, 98.53, but it could have been better. But even then, it was enough to take me through these colleges, which were my target colleges. That being said, when you look back, the dots really connect. All the articles or the newspapers I would study, they helped me even in my internship interview, as I mentioned. So all the things really connect well when you look back. So to all the viewers who might be aspiring for CAT this year, and I know CAT is becoming much and much more hard year by
Yeah.
year, I
Yes.
would say it will really be worth it. It would really, really be worth it. Even if you cannot see the path right now, once you look back, everything will connect.
Yeah. Those are really wise words. Ananda, we love to have you again over here at Career 360. Thank you so much.